Hello again, students, and welcome to part 2 of Learning Activity Plan number 7, discussion for week number 10. We're still under the topic of force due to magnetic fields and sources of magnetic fields. This time, we're going to proceed with the characteristics of magnets. First characteristic is that magnets have poles. So kung ang charges, meron silang negative, positive. Ang magnets naman, may poles sila and the poles are north and south. Okay, and they act like the positive and negative charges when we studied electricity. Here, previously in our study of electricity, like charges repel while opposite charges attract. Here naman, since we are talking about magnets, uh, like poles repel and unlike poles attract. Okay, so if you have two bar magnets, if you put together the south and the north poles of these magnets, they will attract each other. And then naman if you have again two bar magnets and you try to put together the two south poles, they will not attract but instead they will repel each other. And the same will happen if you try to put together the North Poles, re-repel din sila, no? I know some of you have observed this when they are playing with magnets na may part kung saan pag binaliktad mo yung isang magnet, they will no longer attract kahit anong gawin mong pilit na pagdikitin sila. Maghihiwalay at maghihiwalay sila. Next, magnetic poles cannot be isolated. What does that mean? It means that if we have a whole bar magnet here and we try to break it, so pag break natin sila, ang result is not magkahiwalay na north and south, no? Kasi ang notion natin, halimbawa, hatiin mo siya dito, okay? Hinati mo siya dyan, no? Ang mangyayari ay hindi yung kabila magiging north, yung kabila magiging south. Liliit lang yung magnet, pero meron pa rin siyang north and south poles. Ganon din yung kabilang dulo. And then ito, pag hinati mo ulit, ganon ulit. Smaller magnets will be produced and they will still have the north and the south poles. Hindi natin pwedeng paghiwalayin yung north and south poles ng ating magnets. Which means that we have what we don't have in nature, there is no occurring magnetic monopole. Pag sinabi nating magnetic monopole, yung magnet na north lang o kaya yung magnet na south lang. Walang ganun na existing magnet in nature. Okay? So, kahit ilang beses mo pang hatiin tong magnet na to, they will just produce smaller magnets and these magnets will still have the north and the south poles. Paulit-ulit. Magre-reorient yung kanilang atoms or particles in such a way that the moment you cut them, the uh, the north and the south poles will remain in their respective places. Ayan. Next, magnets have magnetic domains. This is the reason why they have why some magnetic materials exhibit magnetic properties while some does not have. For example, yung iron. May mga iron na nakaka-magnetize or nakaka-attract ng other metals at may mga iron na hindi ganon. Bakit? Because of what we call magnetic domains. A magnetic domain is a region within a magnetic material in which the magnetization is in a uniform direction. So, dapat uniform, pare-pareho yung direction ng particles. This means that the individual magnetic moments, so ito yung mga magnetic moments ng kada particle doon sa ating material of the atoms are aligned with one another and they point in the same direction. So kapag disoriented yung magnetic moments ng atoms, hindi mag-exhibit or maliit lang yung may exhibit na magnetic properties. Here are some examples, no? Itong object letter A, no external magnetic field, pero within yung each atom niyan, nag-exhibit yan ng magnetic property kasi nga kada electron ng isang atom pa lang Diba? Kada electron ng isang atom pa lang, may magnetic property na yon individually kasi nga may magnetic spin siya. Pero hindi siya mag-exhibit ng external, palabas na magnetic field because the magnetic moments are randomly arranged. Itong arrows na to tells us na tingnan mo, iba-iba yung direksyon ng kanyang magnetic moments. Kaya ito, kahit pare-parehong materials yan siya, hindi itong si letter A ay exhibit ng magnetic property kasi yung magnetic domain niya ay gulo-gulo. Okay? Yung magnetic moments pa lang niya. So, wala siyang magnetic domain. Walang region dun sa material na uniform yung direction. So, sa letter B naman, ito letter C pala muna. Letter C, removing strong external magnetic field or ang nangyayari dito, no, isa-subject mo siya sa magnetic field. So, initially, para siyang letter A. Random pa siya. Tapos, ang gagawin mo, isa-subject mo to, yung object natin, sa strong external magnetic field. Tapos, inalis mo na siya. And, partially reverted siya. Ibig sabihin, partially yung mga magnetic moments niya ay mag-a-align. So, yan o. Medyo halos lahat sila papuntang taas, wala nang yung pababa o kaya ito masyado na siyang inclined. Ayan. Ito almost magkaka-align na sila, partially reverted. So, ito ay nangyayari usually kapag hindi naman permanent magnet tapos sinubject mo sa external magnetic field na strong, gagalaw yung mga magnetic moments in the same direction as the magnetic domain na meron yung external magnetic field natin. Okay? So, imaginein mo may magnet dito. Ayan. So, gagalaw yan. Ito yung magnet natin, NS. Tapos, inalis mo. Shoot, tinapon mo ganun. Ayan. So, ganyan magkalalabasan. And eventually, mag-randomize ulit yan. So, ito, makaka-exhibit siya ng konti na magnetic property. So, makaka-attract siya for some time ng mga malalapit na metal sa kanya or metallic objects. Pero eventually, mawawala rin yung epekto ng pagkaka-partially revert ng kanyang mga magnetic moments. Itong letter B, ito naman yung highly ordered, which means na ito malakas yung magnetic property na mai-exhibit niya. Okay, so mas marami siyang ma-attract na metals and dahil talagang straight na straight yung pagkaka arrange, so may magnetic domain na siya kasi uniform direction to, lahat pataas yung kanyang magnetic moments. Ito mas may permanence yung kanyang magnetic property. Okay? Ayan. So, for a long period of time, or pwede nga itong maging permanent magnet na eventually, na makaka-attract siya ng mga metal sa paligid niya. Pwede siya maging permanent magnet. No, depende sa kung anong klaseng material siya gawa. Ayan. So, ito yung highly ordered and ito yung may magnetic domain, uniform direction. So, bakit may arrow-arrow? Usually, the arrow that depicts the magnetic moments tells us na yung pataas, that is the north, tapos yung tail naman is yung south. So, ibig sabihin nito, lahat ng particles or atoms nitong object B, magkakapareho ng direksyon lahat ng north. Ayan, walang nakabaliktad na yung iba naka-south tapos yung iba at an angle. Lahat ng north nasa taas, tapos lahat ng south nasa baba, lahat ng atoms niya. Kaya ganyan. Kapag ganun yung arrangement ng atom sa loob ng object, nagiging magnet siya. Okay, ayan. Tapos ito, partial magnet. Tapos ito, hindi talaga siya magnet. Okay, so sa labas, wala siyang ma-exhibit na magnetic field, pero sa loob, within particle level, meron at meron palagi. Because nga electron is considered to be the smallest form of magnet. So, ibig sabihin, may magnet din sa loob nyo. Ayun ang mga electrons natin. Now, magnetism can be induced. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin ng induced? Diba dapat ang nakaka-attract lang yung magnet. So, for example, yung magnet mo, itinapat mo sa nails, pako, siyempre ma-attract yung mga pako. Diba? Yan. Tapos, eventually, yung pako na yun, halimbawa itong pako na to, na-attract siya sa north pole nitong magnet, kahit hindi mismo sa magnet mo idikit yung next na pako, itong pako number 2, lagyan natin ng number, no? Ito si pako number 1, si pako number 2, si pako number 3, 4, at saka 5. So may 5 pako tayo, no? So yung pako number 1 natin is directly connected to the magnet. When we say that magnetism can be induced, it means that although the magnet is not directly in contact with other metals, these metals can still be attracted or can still experience its magnetic field. Paano nangyayari yon, no? So yung ganito nga yung pako number 1 natin, lahat ng uh, north pole ng magnetic domains dito sa magnetic domains, ng magnetic moments ng particles niya nasa taas, ma-attract yun ng south pole ng magnet. So mangyayari lahat ng south pole naman ng kanyang mga particles ay marerating dito sa lower part or sa lower half. So, mangyayari, itong pako, dahil na-attract siya dito sa magnet, nagsilbi na rin siyang magnet. Kasi yung magnet mismo, ni-rearrange yung kanyang magnetic moments. Okay? Ayan. So, initially, yung pako, wala siyang magnetic property, hindi siya nag-exhibit ng magnetic property dahil sinubject natin siya sa isang permanent bar magnet or pwedeng artificial bar magnet na permanent din naman, ni-rearrange ngayon ni magnet na to yung particles, yung poles ng particles nung pako number 1. So, mangyayari, si pako number 1, magiging magnet na siya, tapos i-attract niya si pako number 2, dahil yun nasa ilalim ni pako number 1 ay mga south pole, ang i-attract niya ay yung mga north pole naman ng particles ni pako number 2, tapos matitira ulit yung south poles ng mga particles ni pako number 2 sa kanyang ilalim. Tapos, pwede ulit siyang magsilbing another magnet. Tapos, ma-attract na si pako number 3. Tapos, same thing happens to the other pako hanggang kay pako number 5. Now, depende sa strength ng magnetic field nitong ating permanent bar magnet kung ilang pako yung kanyang ma-attract. Kasi, habang palayo ng palayo dito sa permanent magnet, paliit naman ng paliit yung magnetic field strength. So, ganun din yung nangyari dito sa paper clips naman. Sa north naman siya nakakabit. So, yung steel paper clips natin, ma-attract nung paper clip number 1, lagyan din natin ulit ng number, ma-attract ng north pole ng ating permanent bar magnet, yung south poles ng particles ni paperclip number 1. So, iipon sa dito sa taas, parang yung sa process of induction or charging by induction, naalala nyo, yun naman kapag tinapat mo sa positive yung isang neutral object, i-attract nyo yung mga negative and so on. So parang ganun yung nangyayari dito, no? So mapupunta naman sa ilalim yung north, kaya magiging ano na siya, magnet in itself, makaka-attract na siya ng paperclip number 2 and so on and so forth hanggang kay paperclip number 4. Ayan. So, nire-rearrange ni bar magnet. So, anong mangyayari kapag inalis na natin si bar magnet? Pag inalis na natin si bar magnet, mawawalan na ng magnetic properties si pako 1 pati si paperclip number 1. Therefore, maghihiwa-hiwalay na yan sila once na alisin nyo yung bar magnet. Kasi ito yung mga types of materials na hindi naman nila nare-retain yung kanilang magnetic properties. And then, of course, magnets have magnetic fields. And just like electric fields, magnetic fields are depicted by lines. So, kapag may isa tayong isolated bar magnet, ang direction of the magnetic field is coming from the North Pole. Look at the arrows. Coming from the North Pole, ayan, dito lumalabas sa North Pole. Tapos, papunta sa South Pole. So, ganun yung direction niya. Diba yung electric field lines kapag sa electric fields, remember, pag positive, conventionally palabas, yung electric field lines, tapos kapag negative, conventionally papunta sa negative point charge. Dito naman, hindi naman kasi natin pwedeng pag-iwalayin yung north and south poles. So, ganito yung mangyayari. Yung magnetic field lines would come out or away from the north and then goes towards the south. Palabas ng north, papasok ng south. So, paano naman kapag hindi na isolated yung ating bar magnet? Paano kung dalawa sila at nag interact na sila sa isa't isa? Okay? So, kapag unlike poles yung pinagdikit nyo or yung nag interact it would look like this. Parang yung sa opposite charges din, di ba? So, magmumula sa north, yung magnetic field lines, tapos papunta sa south. Okay? So, galing north, papuntang south, ganun palagi yung direction. At magko-connect sila sa isa't isa because the poles that are interacting are unlike poles. Paano naman kapag like poles? Siyempre, the reaction would be a repulsive reaction. So, the arrows will still point out of the north. So, pag nakita mo, palabas pa rin yan ng north. Tapos, ito kasi dahil pareho silang north, no? Ito naman ay palabas din. Notice. And then, dito sa gitna, wala kang ma-experience na magnetic field. Okay? Ayan. So, ganyan siya, magre-repel. Paano naman kapag parehong south yung nag-interact? Drawing ko, no? Kasi wala akong picture. Ayan. Pag parehong south, ganyan itsura niya. Tapos, instead of the arrows going away from the north, dito, papasok naman sa south. Ayan. Okay? Pero magre-repel pa rin. May space pa rin sa gitna. Ang mababago lang ay yung direction ng arrows natin. Instead na palabas, kasi north yung nandito sa picture natin, magiging paloob yung direction ng arrows kasi south poles naman yung nag-i-interact. Although like poles pa rin naman sila. Okay? Ayan. So let's have some information about magnetic field. Kasi just like electric field, magnetic field is a physical quantity itself. Magnetic field is some place in space where a magnetic force, F sub B, dati ang gamit natin sa electric force or electrostatic force ay F sub E. So this time naman, ang tawag natin sa magnetic force ay F sub B. Bakit? Later malalaman natin kung bakit F sub B. Is exerted on a moving charged particle, specifically a test charge. Okay, so talagang related ang magnetism rather and electricity. Ayan. So this is the reason why the symbol for magnetic force is F sub B because the symbol for magnetic field is capital letter B. Bakit ganyan? Huwag niyo kong awayin kasi conventionally that is the symbol for magnetic field. Meaning it is agreed upon by most experts. But then again, there are books which uses other symbols. And then the standard unit for magnetic field is Tesla. Ayan, alam ko yung iba sa inyo mahilig sa kotse, alam ang Tesla, no? Electric cars. And then the symbol for the unit Tesla is capital letter T. Elon Musk, no? Kumpanya niya yan, no? And then the other units for magnetic field is Gauss. And the symbol for Gauss is capital letter G. And if we want to convert 1 Tesla to Gauss, it would be equivalent to 10,000 Gauss. So 1 Tesla is equivalent to 10,000 Gauss. And notice that the capital letter B has this magical symbol here on top, which is half an arrow, which tells us that it is a vector quantity. Electric field is also a vector quantity, diba? So pareho sila. And then here are a list of typical magnetic field values. For conventional laboratory magnets, it could be 2.5 Tesla or 25,000 Gauss. Yan. Yung mga ginagamit natin sa lab or yung mga ginagamit natin na or na-experience na natin na laruan dati. Hindi ko alam, no? Kasi sa amin may kapitbahay nga kami na electrician dati. So, yung TV, yung mga speaker, may mga magnet kasi yun, no? So, kinukuha namin yun kapag tinatapon na niya. So, may idea tayo, no? Kung gaano ba kalakas yung mga magnet niya. Parang ganon, no? Sana nakagamit tayo. And then, superconducting materials, magnets naman, are 30 Tesla, o diba? Sobrang strong nito eh. Or 300,000 volts. And then lastly, ito pinakamaliit, Earth's magnetic field is 0.5 gauss, or ganito siya kaliit, 5 times 10 raised to negative 5 Tesla. Sorry, hindi ko na siya na, na super script. Ganyan lang kaliit yung magnetic field ng Earth. Kaya notice, yung mga metals, hindi naman siya mahirap buhatin if it is on the ground. Kasi imaginein mo, kung malakas yung magnetic field ng Earth, yung mga metal stuff na nilalapag natin sa ground, medyo mahirap siyang buhatin, no? So, dahil lang nakaka-apekto lang is the force of gravity, hindi ganun ka laki yung effect ng magnetic force ng Earth, medyo mas madali para sa atin na buhatin yung mga metallic or iron composed, nickel and cobalt composed stuff from the ground. So, yun lang for the part 2. Thank you for listening and see you again on part 3 of force due to magnetic fields and sources of magnetic